Honestly, sometimes the hardest part of beginning a family worship time is just figuring out the time and place for it to happen. And while every family's schedule is different, there are a few things that we all need to consider when deciding when and where our families should meet. Let's go! NonStop! Hey guys, Steven again with NonStop Families, and I just want to be an encouragement to you today as you seek to disciple those in your home. Before we get started today, do me a favor and go ahead and like and share this video, because the more that you engage and interact with our content, the more social media is going to show it to other people. And the more that happens, the more people are going to be encouraged to effectively disciple their children. Maybe you've already started a family worship time in your home, or maybe you're preparing to. Either way, deciding when and where to do it may not be as easy as it sounds. There's a lot to take into consideration when we look at things like our individual schedules or the age and attention span of our children, stuff like that. So to make it a little easier for you, we've come up with a few tips to help you decide when and where your family worship time should take place. Let's start with the when. When beginning a family worship time, choose a time when everyone is available. Duh. Yes, every family schedule is different. Our kids, as well as us as parents, are involved in a ton of activities that take up our time. Between church, school, work, homework, and extracurricular activities, we're usually pretty hard-pressed to find extra time for anything. However, if you're watching this during the pandemic, you might actually have a lot more free time than you used to have. Take advantage of it. And for the record, deep down, we all know that being too busy is never a good thing, and it puts a lot of added stress on our families. And just maybe as we're deciding when to have our family worship time, we might actually need to look at our schedule and sacrifice some things of lesser importance. If you can't say amen, say ouch. Take a look at your schedule, find a time when everyone is available, or make a time for everyone to be available, and start making family worship a priority in your home. Here's another tip. Choose a time when everyone is alert. Now, some families may choose to worship together first thing in the morning or last thing at night. Now, if that's you and you can do that, that's awesome. More power to you. But I know there's a lot of families who probably have a hard time doing it then because, well, pick a time when you know everyone's going to be awake and ready to engage. We want our minds to be alert and our hearts ready to receive what God has for us in His Word. And one of the most important tips as it relates to when, choose a time when you can be most consistent. The secret to a successful family worship time, believe it or not, is not the quality of your time spent together, but the fact that it's happening on a regular basis. We want our kids to expect it, to anticipate it, and hopefully enjoy it. And we also want them to take notice if it doesn't happen. When we are consistent in our worship together as a family, it becomes normal, as it should be. And our kids begin to recognize it as being really important to our family. And when your child eventually comes to you and asks, "Mommy, Daddy, what are we doing? What are we reading? What are we singing for family worship tonight?" That's an awesome feeling. We have to prioritize this time and make sure that it's happening. So you've got a few ideas now to help you determine the when of family worship. Now let's take a look at the where. First of all, choose a place where distractions are limited. We, as in all of us, I don't care how old you are, we are so easily distracted sometimes.
He made me this collar so that I may talk. Squirrel!
So for just a brief time, let's lay down the phones, turn off all the devices, put away the toys, basically anything that would seek to compete for our attention. Let's encourage our kids to lay those things aside. And by the way, that goes for us as parents too. If it's time for family worship and you're sitting there on the couch on your phone watching baby panda sneezing, turn it off. For the record, that is pretty funny. We need to communicate to our kids that our time of family worship is so important that we will gladly set everything else aside in order to focus on Jesus. Secondly, choose a place where conversation is encouraged. The dinner table, the living room, family room, front porch, back porch, or even in a child's bedroom right before bed, assuming they are alert. These are all places in our home where genuine conversations have a real chance of happening. And in our family worship times, we want that. We want our kids to be able to have a conversation with us about the Bible. And remember that children are naturally curious. They want to obtain knowledge, and that comes through meaningful conversations. Let's make sure that we're choosing an atmosphere where that can easily take place. Finally, and this is going to sound very familiar, choose a place where you can be most consistent. See how important this is? In the end, it really doesn't matter where you do your family worship, but it does help if the where is a consistent place in your home. And this is especially true if you have younger children. When it's time for family worship in our house, our kids know exactly where to go. And what we find is that over time, a lot of children really thrive and engage in atmospheres that come to be seen as familiar to them. There you go, guys. Just a few tips to help you out in deciding when and where your family worship time should take place. As always, if this was helpful to you, again, please like and share. Maybe even tag somebody in the comments. Also, if your family is already having a time of family worship in your home, leave us a comment below and let us know when and where yours takes place, because that's just going to give others suggestions as they seek to start it up themselves. So have a great week, guys. Be encouraged, be consistent, and go nonstop.